Okay, so our goal for this lesson is that you can cartoon the transfer of energy for your energy source. So in this case, the energy source is going to be fossil fuels. And so then you're going to draw cartoons for how fossil fuels are used to generate energy, and sort of you're going to draw cartoons for how the transfer of energy works inside of a fossil fuel electricity plant. Okay, so this is roughly how all fossil fuel plants work. Really, it doesn't matter what kind of fossil fuel you're using. So whether it's coal or oil or natural gas, they basically all work the same way. The only thing that's different will be this part down here, how the fuel is fed into the boiler. But other than that, they all basically use the same technology. Okay, so we're gonna do coal, but like I said, we could really draw any type of fossil fuel. So go ahead and draw a few lumps of coal right here. And but like I said, it could be any carbon-based fuel. So coal, oil, natural gas, they'll all work. And those carbon-based fuels have chemical energy stored inside them. And so what we do is we actually burn those carbon-based fuels. So we can see the fire on top of the coal. So we're going to burn this carbon-based fuel, and we're going to do that to produce heat energy. And so the more fuel you burn, the more heat energy you'll produce. Okay, and so then now we're going to go back to the diagram of the plant. You can see we've got our boiler here, and what's going to happen is the coal or whatever other fuel source you use is going to be burned, and that's going to produce heat. So the heat energy, and so the fuel is going to get fed in right here, and it's going to be burned, and it's going to produce heat. And so then what's going to happen is this water that's above in this part, which is called the boiler, the water that's above is going to be turned into steam, right? Because the water is going to heat up and it's going to turn into steam. And so then once it turns into steam, it's going to move through this pipe, and because it's moving, it's going to have kinetic energy. So go ahead and draw this. Most important part is that you draw a boiler, that you've got some sort of water source up above, and then you're showing that the water is turning into steam. Okay, so then for slide number 3, you're going to kind of draw the water pipes up above here. And what you should see is as the steam goes through the pipe, it feeds into this chamber with the turbine. So basically the kinetic energy of this steam is going to turn this turbine right here, and that'll turn the kinetic energy into mechanical energy. Okay, and so then what happens next? Well, up next, the mechanical energy of the turbine is going to spin this generator, right? So the turbine's going to turn the generator, and when that happens, the generator is going to generate electricity. So basically the mechanical energy is being turned into electrical energy. We can see that in this video right here. I'm going to open it up to full screen here. So here we've got a hand crank generator. So he's going to turn it around, and you can see that spins this little metal part right here. And so what's happening here is this metal part right here is inside of a magnet. And so when you move metal inside a magnet, what that happens is a process called induction, and that turns kinetic energy into electrical energy. So moving that metal coil is able to generate electricity, which is why the light bulb lights up. And the faster he spins it, the more the light bulb lights up, the more energy he's generating. And so that's what's happening in our plant here, is as the turbine spins, the generator generates electricity. Hold on one second. Okay, and so then after after the generator generates electricity, what's going to happen is that electricity is going to be carried up to the power lines, and then the power lines will carry the energy to your home for use. So the electrical energy is carried to people's houses through the generator. That's our last step. So let's just kind of go over the whole process real quick here. We've got the boiler. What happens is we feed fuel into the boiler, so either coal, um, um, either coal, petroleum, or natural gas, um, and that fuel is burned. The burned fuel uh, heats up the water, turns it into steam. The steam moves through the pipes into the turbine. The steam will spin the turbine. Um, and then what ends up happening is uh, the water, after the turbine spins, it'll spin the generator, and then the generator will generate electricity and carry that up into the power lines. Now, what's happening down here is the water actually needs to be cooled down before it goes back into the boiler. If it stays too hot, what will eventually happen is the water in the boiler will be too hot and then the pipe will burst, which isn't a good thing. And then over here, what you can see happening is this is where the waste carbon dioxide goes up into the atmosphere. All right, let me know if you have any questions.